Good afternoon, everybody. This is Caleb here with Indiana Weather Network, Indiana Weather Online. We have our first severe thunderstorm warning of the afternoon. This will be for northeastern Kosciuszko County in north central Indiana until 3:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. 60-mile-per-hour winds associated with this thunderstorm. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for all of northern Indiana. Think of areas Marion, Logansport, and northward is where our severe thunderstorm watch is. This is until 9 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time tonight. A really nice gust front just on the south side of Milford there, likely a microburst or a downburst ongoing south of Milford near Shady Banks. A really strong returns there, winds near 60 miles per hour. And also keep in mind, we're right near the radar. The National Weather Service in northern Indiana, located in North Webster on State Road 13, is just right down the road from this severe thunderstorm. And we're getting some really nice sampling going on. We have a really low beam height here. Our radar is picking up on winds just a couple hundred feet off the surface here, right around 60 or so miles per hour. So likely seeing some winds between 50 and 60 miles per hour on the south side of Milford. Near Shady Banks, this storm is moving off to the south and southeast at, looks like, about 30 miles per hour, or 20 miles per hour. So not a super fast moving storm. Looking around the region, we have some special weather statements for the Logansport area, Lafayette, and then all the way down to areas just north of Terre Haute. These lines of showers and thunderstorms are associated with a cold front that'll be moving through the area here today. Cold front is in quotes, though it's not super cold of a cold front. It will bring some heat relief to the state, especially tonight into tomorrow. So that is much needed, and definitely looking forward to that. This severe thunderstorm warning for Kosciuszko County is in effect until 3:30 p.m. 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-size hail. Some small hail being reported within this cell as well. Strongest winds going to go just south of Syracuse. Going to move into Shady Banks and moving towards the North Webster area or just north towards the Lake Wawasee area as well in the next 15 minutes or so. So if you're on the lakes or know anybody on the lake waters today, really hot, be a good lake day. Now's the time to bring your watercraft ashore and ride this storm out inside. Conditions can deteriorate quite a bit on the lakes during a severe thunderstorm event. So interior room away from windows until this storm has passed. There's only severe thunderstorm warning in the state currently, but we do have that severe thunderstorm watch in effect for areas north of Logansport, including all of northern and northeastern Indiana until 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Does not include portions of northwest Indiana. I think Lake and Porter County, you guys are not included in this severe thunderstorm watch. Mainly for this line of storms and east. Once this line of storms moves through and our cold front moves through, your rain chances for the afternoon will go down as well. So once this line of rain moves through, your chances of storms diminishes pretty quick. So we don't have to worry about any severe weather behind this line. There's no round two today, just one round today of isolated strong to severe thunderstorms with primarily a damaging wind risk today. We have some dry air aloft that is helping make our downdrafts excited, a little more accelerated as that air sinks to the ground, giving us a damaging wind risk here today. This warning is no exception. Pretty isolated area in terms of severity and coverage, but nonetheless, severe thunderstorm warning. And there's a new severe thunderstorm warning. Gusty winds there just north of US 30 and a core here. Also 60-mile-per-hour winds, but we also have quarter-size hail within this storm as well. Go ahead and turn on our hail tracker here to look at our hailstones here. Yeah, a nice hail core just north of Etna Green, right on US 30 here, coming near the Leesburg area. Probably in the next 15 to 20 minutes or so. This goes for another 30 minutes here, or until 3:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time as well. 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail. So we have two severe thunderstorm warnings, both of which are in Kosciuszko County. They're relatively small warnings, but we have two separate warnings in Kosciuszko County. Our first warning here is for northern Kosciuszko County near the Milford area, just south of Syracuse is where our strongest winds are. Go ahead and circle that for you. I'll change my color. Green on green is just not a very good color. We'll go to white. There we go. So this is area number 1 and area number 2. Storm 1 and Storm 2 is what these areas are warned for. So 2 areas of strong to damaging winds of 60 miles per hour. This gust front here moving near the Oakwood Park area. I'm going to go just on the south side of Syracuse for the strongest winds. Does include North Webster, State Road 13, and Lake Wawasee within this first warning box. And then our storm to the southwest. We're also watching that for 60-mile-per-hour winds, with the strongest winds just on the north side of US 30, north of Atwood here, going near the Clinette area and Leesburg area, moving in this direction here. You can kind of see that on reflectivity with a little bit of hail, likely where you see the purples on radar here. That's where your strongest core is. Could have some quarter-size hail mixing down to the ground as well. But we also, this gust front also does extend to the south, just north of Matone area near Warsaw, Indiana. Could have some gusty winds on the south side of US 30, with the strongest winds on the north side of the highway right now. This storm is moving moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. Hail damage is expected to vehicles. Expect wind damage to roofs, siding, and trees. 60-mile-per-hour winds is strong enough to knock down some branches and trees as well. If you guys have any damage here today, feel free to get a hold of the Micheli's Corporation out of Indianapolis. They are sponsoring this video here today. You can get a hold of them at 317-251-1935. They're based actually in Indianapolis and surrounding areas. Really good company to work with. Give them a call. And if you have any tree damage, Rookters Outdoor Services based in Indianapolis as well. Be happy to talk to you if you have any tree damage. 317-665-3964. Thank you guys for sponsoring this severe weather coverage here today. Looking in chat here, we got a few guys in here. We got Steven in here. We got Brian in here. Tiffany's in here. We got Rob, Brooklyn, Cecil. Great to have you guys. And great to have you guys with us here for our live coverage here today in Indiana. We have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in effect so far today, both of them for 60-mile-per-hour winds, with a southern warning in Kosciuszko County west of Warsaw for quarter-size hail. This northern warning is 60 and penny-size hail, and some really strong winds now gusting out. You can kind of see how it has a nice apex to it here on the north side of US 30. This is going to be moving towards the Leesburg area. So those of you guys in this warning box for storm number 1, heads up, as we have an area of strong damaging winds just southwest of Leesburg, likely some pockets of 60-mile-per-hour winds. See those brighter green colors within this box here, within this zone north of US 30. Pretty strong damaging wind gusts there as well. This storm here also warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds, penny-size hail. There's 2 separate cells here, one in northern Kosciuszko County and one in southwest Kosciuszko County, both of which are under a severe thunderstorm warning for damaging winds of 60 miles per hour. Your southern storm has a little bit more of a hail core to it, a little bit better updraft, could have some quarter-size hail mixing down along with 60-mile-per-hour winds. So anytime you get wind-driven hail, that can be quite dangerous for animals or people outside, as well as can put some dents in your cars as well. This is going to be heading eventually towards the Kendallville and perhaps LaGrange area over the next hour or so, depending on how these lines of storms hold together. As you notice, though, looking south throughout the region, these storms are kind of broken in nature. They're kind of scattered. It's not a big consolidated line of storms like we sometimes get here in Indiana. They're broken in nature. It's a line of broken showers and thunderstorms that'll be moving east-southeast along our cold front here today. And a few embedded stronger storms within this broken line as well. Damaging winds is the primary risk. Your best chance for a severe thunderstorm does exist for northern Indiana. And the reason for that, a little bit more wind shear aloft in terms of speed shear. You get some stronger winds aloft that can help these storms organize a little bit better and also help them bring some of those stronger winds down to the ground. The further south you go, much like the last few days, we have a lot of instability, heat, moisture, but we don't have strong wind shear to really better organize these storms. But there could be a sporadic wind gust to 60 miles per hour or so across southern and southwest Indiana. All these blue boxes you see here are special weather statements. They're for storms that are strong. They're just below severe criteria. Currently, our severe warning storms are just right now in Kosciuszko County. We have 2 separate warnings for Kosciuszko County, both of which are for 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-size hail and quarter-size hail. So this northern storm here moving towards the Syracuse area, 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-size hail. And this storm moving towards the Leesburg area in southwest Kosciuszko County, 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail. Strongest winds right now on the north side of US 30, moving towards the Leesburg area, State Road 15 area over the next few minutes or so. So interior room away from windows until the storm has passed. But those of you behind this rain, after this rain moves through, you guys are done. So northwest Indiana, think like Portage, South Bend, Monticello, Rensselaer, everyone in northwest Indiana, you guys are in the clear for the rest of the day. Enjoy your afternoon, and hopefully the temperatures get a little better for you too. Behind the cold front, might be a little bit of a breath of relief after this cold front comes through. Not a lot, but any relief is better than no relief after what the temperatures have been like. They've just been downright terrible across Indiana for the last few days or so. So right now, the strongest winds are coming near the Leesburg area. A little bit harder of a time sampling this northern storm that's warned right now because it's currently really close to the radar. A lot of times you need storms a little bit further away from the radar to get sampled properly. When storms are right on the radar beam has a hard time sampling that data as the storm needs to get a few more miles away in order to do that. Right now, strong winds right here just to the southwest of Leesburg, be moving into town here fairly soon. Interior room away from windows until the storm has passed. Pretty strong winds here, up to 60 miles per hour or so within these brighter pockets of green that you see here on your screen. On the right side of your screen, where you see the red and green, this is what we call relative velocity. What are the wind velocities doing within the showers and storms that we have here? The greens that you see are wind directions that are moving towards the radar site, and reds are wind directions moving away from the radar site. So these bright greens are moving off to the east-northeast, showing pockets of 60 miles per hour in the brighter greens there, just southwest of Leesburg, likely going to go into Leesburg or Oswego, just on the north side of Warsaw. Warsaw, you're included in this severe thunderstorm warning, at least the west side of town is, but I would include Warsaw in the polygon here. Could have some gusty winds on the south side, but the strongest winds are just to your north, on north side of US 30, moving towards the Leesburg area. These are our only severe thunderstorm warnings in the state of Indiana. But we do have a severe thunderstorm watch, which does include the Logansport area, Marion area, Indiana, Fort Wayne, and areas northward until 9 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. And here's another hazard that we have to worry about in thunderstorms is lightning. This is what we call a bolt out of the blue. This is several miles away from where the storms are, and you can see how far away that lightning bolt is. So it doesn't have to be raining to have a lightning threat at your location. So always a good idea when thunder roars, go indoors for that very reason. You could be outside having a good afternoon, not a cloud over your head, but then suddenly a lightning strikes in your area and it can be quite dangerous. There, they just trimmed the warning back. The hail size, they went ahead and dropped it from quarter to nickel size, 0.88 diameter. So that's some good news there, but still warned for 60 miles per hour on both of these storms here as they move towards the North Webster area and Kosciuszko County. Our northern storm is getting ready to move out of Kosciuszko County, perhaps into Elkhart County here. Currently, no severe thunderstorm warning for Elkhart County. We'll have to see if they issue one further north or not. We do have a special weather statement in place, though, for surrounding areas. Wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. Strongest winds right now near the Clinette area, coming near the Leesburg area, State Road 15 is where these winds are approaching north of Warsaw, near Leesburg. A nice pocket there of strong winds waiting on our radar beam to get unfroze there. Kind of glitched there a little bit, but you can see a nice pocket of winds. This frame here is likely over here, just didn't catch back up. But a nice pocket of winds close to 60 miles per hour moving into Leesburg area, and could even have a few isolated gusts stronger than that are possible as well. Here comes our radar beam coming back around. We'll just wait on our next frame here to get that next update as well. This severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 3:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. A severe thunderstorm located near Warsaw is moving northeast at 35 miles per hour, 60 mile per hour wind gusts, and nickel-sized hail. Expect damage to roofs, siding, and trees. In effect for another 20 minutes here, or until 3:30 p.m. Our storm for this warning box is getting ready to go out of the warning box. We'll see what the National Weather Service deems necessary for that storm here as it moves towards the Ligonier area and State Road 5. But currently the strongest storm, at least on radar, is the one approaching Leesburg, or likely in Leesburg right about now. So 60-mile-per-hour winds, and nickel-size hail. Anytime you get wind-driven hail, though it may not be quarter size, really any hail of any size when it's wind-driven can enhance the hazards associated with it. It can put dents in your cars, shred your leaves, and be damaging to crops, gardens, trees, and roofs as well. So, though it's not super large hail, it is still hail nonetheless. Currently, these are only severe thunderstorm warnings in the state of Indiana. All these blue polygons that you see here on your screen are special weather statements. They are for storms that are strong, but they're not severe or meeting severe criteria. Severe criteria is 58-mile-per-hour or greater winds, quarter size hail, 1-inch diameter or greater, or a tornado. Any one of those three things make a storm severe. As you can see here, 40 miles per hour is just a little bit shy of 58 miles per hour. So 18 miles per hour shy of severe criteria within this blue polygon here. So it's strong, but these storms are not severe. This polygon here for the south, winds up to 50 miles per hour. You can see a line here protruding well out ahead of the storm from Warsaw all the way down to the Kokomo area in Howard County. This is an outflow boundary. This is a boundary of rain-cooled air out ahead of the storm, likely having some gusty winds on it. So if you're in Wabash County, the winds may pick up before you see the rain associated with that boundary. You have to keep an eye on it, though, as it can also spark new thunderstorms out ahead of it as well. Right now, the strongest storm is in Kosciuszko County. We're going to stay with that one here for a while. A nice pocket of winds, probably close to 60 miles per hour, moving into the Leesburg area, Oswego area, north of US 30. This is moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. Coming over a lot of the same areas that were originally warned with this first severe thunderstorm warning for 60 miles an hour. This is going to head near the Lake Wawasee area, North Webster, Syracuse, and Milford. A nice pocket of really strong winds here over Leesburg right now. And notice the radar site is right here. So what we're seeing is really only about 100 to 200 feet off the ground is where these measurements are coming from. So really low to the ground, very strong winds here associated with this severe thunderstorm warning. So do take this seriously. Interior room, away from windows until this storm has passed. Winds right around on the radar here I have behind the scenes, right around 64 miles an hour, a couple hundred feet off the ground near Leesburg. So likely seeing some wind gusts close to 60 miles an hour at the surface. This severe thunderstorm is getting ready to outrun the first polygon here. We're likely going to see this trim back and a new warning get issued here out ahead of it. We'll see what they do here. Currently 60-mile-per-hour winds and nickel-size hail. This is moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. Strongest winds right over State Road 15 in Leesburg right now, 700 north, Armstrong Road here. This is going to be moving towards Redmond Park. I don't even want to try to pronounce that one. Quaker Haven Park, Stony Ridge, Oswego, as well as North Webster. So if you're in North Webster, Indiana, Lake Wawasee, now's the time to get your watercraft out of the water. Go ahead and dock them and get inside until this storm has passed. I know there's a lot of lake goers here in this area. Now's the time to get off the water and get to shore. 60-mile-per-hour winds and nickel-size hail associated with this thunderstorm warning. A really nice pocket of really strong winds right in here associated with this thunderstorm right over Leesburg. And this will be moving towards North Webster, Oakland Park, Syracuse, and just south of Shady Banks in Milford in Kosciuszko County. This will be moving into northeastern Kosciuszko County over the next few minutes or so. You can see they canceled the special weather statement, but still a severe thunderstorm warning for central Kosciuszko County until 3:30 p.m. We'll have to see if they issue an additional warning as this is getting ready to exit the original box. We have two separate polygons here for two separate storms. So we'll have to see if we get a new polygon here as the storm heads near the Ligonier area as well. Only moving northeast at 35 miles an hour, but it may have picked up speed just a little bit as this storm approaches the North Webster radar. We'll likely lose coverage just a little bit in terms of accuracy with the radar as this storm moves over the radar site. and then we'll get a better look at it as it moves further away from the radar site once again. So do keep that in mind. Radar, right now, you're getting probably the best look we're going to have of this storm, and before we lose quality as it moves closer to the radar and eventually near or over the radar site. Here's our new swath here. Really strong winds still ongoing just on the north side of Oswego, just east of Leesburg, right in here, only a few miles wide, but really anywhere between Shady Banks and Oswego, north of Highlands Park here, a nice pocket of 60-mile-per-hour winds moving right towards North Webster here. So we're going to get a very good look here at this storm. The National Weather Service, being that the storm is going to move over their location or very near, we'll get some pretty good observation on data off of the storm as well. So they did trim this warning back, and this has been upgraded to a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. They feel that we have reached 70-mile-per-hour winds associated with this storm. So 70-mile-per-hour winds now in Kosciuszko County. This is a level 2 out of 3. Now that we're getting that very good look here from the radar site as well. So a very strong thunderstorm here. Do be in your safe place until this storm has passed. Very strong winds associated with this storm. This storm is going to be moving towards North Webster, Lake Wawasee, and eventually near the Cromwell area as well over the next probably 30 minutes or so. Still moving northeast at about 35 miles an hour. Not terribly fast, but still showing some very significant winds within this storm. I'm just going to put an update here on our page about this storm here. So bear with me here real quick. Again, this is for central Kosciuszko County, considerable severe thunderstorm warning, 70-mile-per-hour winds, 70, located near North Webster or near Syracuse, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. This is for Kosciuszko County in north central Indiana. Bear with me here as I make this update on our page here real quick. But again, this is a level 2 out of 3 on our severe thunderstorm warnings. We have a baseline at 60 miles per hour, and then we go considerable at 70 mile per hour. And then once we hit 80 miles per hour, it'll become a destructive severe thunderstorm warning, which is a level 3 out of 3. This is a level 2 out of 3, considerable, still a very serious warning and needs to be taken seriously. So locations include Syracuse, Milford, North Webster, Lake Wawasee, DeWitt Lake, James Lake, Oakland Park, and Tippecanoe Lake. A lot of lakes in this area, a lot of people at the lakes. It's been a very nice lake week in terms of temperatures, but this is a very dangerous situation and a very serious situation as well. The strongest winds, though, look to go just on the south side of Syracuse towards Oakwood Park and south, but this could shift north. So those anywhere in this polygon need to be taking this seriously. If you're from Syracuse to North Webster, just north of Barbie, strong winds approaching the National Weather Service, approaching North Webster's office here. There's WFO here getting very close, if not likely going to go right over the office. So people in the National Weather Service in northern Indiana will likely be taking shelter here pretty soon. There you can see the gust front. We're starting to lose our quality a little bit, as I talked about a few minutes ago. As these storms approach the radar site itself, we're going to lose quality a little bit, and then we'll regain that quality as it moves over and beyond the National Weather Service's radar site. So do keep that in mind here, but this is a considerable severe thunderstorm warning, 70-mile-per-hour winds, and penny-sized hail associated with this storm. So a very dangerous storm, very significant storm, and can cause quite a bit of damage. So do take this seriously. Interior room, away from windows. Treat this as if you would a weak tornado. Though this is not tornadic, this is straight line winds. Straight line winds can cause significant damage, just as that is a weak tornado. So always good to keep that in mind and put as many layers between you and the outside as possible. That's how you need to think of it when sheltering for severe weather. Think of it as layers. How many layers do you have between your skin and the outside elements? The more layers, the more protection you have, and that's how you need to think of it as. So bathroom, interior room, away from windows. Windows do not count as layers. In fact, I would actually subtract layers from your body if you are in a room with a window. That's just as bad as being outside. So no windows, interior room, lowest level of your home if you don't have a basement. So all good ideas of places to be sheltering here. This is going to be moving towards the Cromwell area as well if it holds together. Lake Wawasee, strongest winds right now going to go just on the north side of North Webster, if not over North Webster, and splitting Oakland Park and North Webster. Going to go right over the National Weather Service's office here. They're likely getting ready to take shelter here and resume operations once this storm has passed as well. Just like you and I, the National Weather Service will also take shelter if these storms look to impact their office as well. Vanessa says it's pouring in Syracuse. Yeah, I believe that. A really heavy core coming over town right now. The strongest winds appear to be just to your south, but you don't have to go very far south to get into these stronger winds. So again, interior room away from windows until this storm has passed. Winds are still showing near 70 miles per hour just on the north side of North Webster. A very strong thunderstorm here. This is going to go, the strongest winds here appear to go just north of North Webster and south of Syracuse. It's going to split the two towns here, closer to North Webster than it is Syracuse at this point in time. This is going to move right near Lake Wawasee. State Road 13 is where it's crossing right now. You can see it's going right over the radar site at this point in time. So we're losing our quality in terms of the data that we're able to see, because it is currently over the National Weather Service's office here. But we're going to get a really good measurement here. The National Weather Service has a lot of instrumentation at their weather forecasting office. So though the winds may have appeared to be weakening a little bit on radar, that may not be the case, because the radar is not sampling those winds right now as the winds are directly overhead. The radar beam looks out laterally. It doesn't look up vertically. So that's one of the limitations of Doppler radar. And for that reason, we have to wait until the storm gets closer to the Kimmel area or Cromwell area before we have a better look at the other side of the radar beam as to what these winds are actually doing. So just one of the limitations of radar. Radar is a very good product. It's a very handy product. We have newer radars here across the United States. They're called WSR 88Ds is what we have here for those of you playing along at home. They're very nice products and can do a lot of different things, but they do have limitations as well. So this is one of them. As a storm goes directly over top the radar, we lose that quality for a few minutes until it moves on the other side, because the beam is looking lateral. It's not vertical. Yeah, thank you for that, Felicia. Great to have you guys in chat here. Looking south around the region, I don't want to leave anybody out from today's stream. These storms here to the south, if you're watching for the Terre Haute area, Indianapolis area, Logansport area, these storms are subsevere at this point in time. This special weather statement for 21 more minutes, 40-mile-per-hour winds, 18-mile-per-hour shy of severe criteria of 58 or greater. And southern Illinois, these special weather statements are in effect for a few more minutes. This one a little bit stronger, 50-mile-per-hour. So just shy of severe criteria near the Effingham area and Charleston area. So Terre Haute, heads up for these storms. Watch them as they head in your direction. The storms near Logansport, Indiana, have kind of fallen apart. They don't look very organized at all, but we do have that outflow boundary out ahead of them here. So you can see that, and they can still have some gusty winds along this boundary here of rain-cooled air that is pushed out ahead of these thunderstorms. And we're going to have to watch this outflow boundary for additional storms that fire along them as well. Same goes for northern Indiana here, as we do have this severe thunderstorm watch in effect for northern Indiana until 9 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, meaning conditions are favorable for the development of severe weather, including damaging winds here today. Hail is not one of the main risks today for severe hazards. However, damaging winds, locally strong to severe, are possible. And this storm here has gone considerable, meaning 70-mile-per-hour winds. See if they change the tag. Still radar indicated here, 70-mile-per-hour winds, and penny-size hail, which is 3/4 of an inch or diameter, which is 1/4 of an inch shy of severe criteria, which is quarter-size hail, or 1 inch diameter is the threshold there for hail in terms of severe criteria. We also have some lightning in this storm as well. These storms will continue to push off to the east as our cold front continues to push off to the east. Currently, our cold front is situated about like this. So Lake and Porter County, you guys are likely not really going to see much in the way of precipitation here this afternoon. Storms are going to fire off to your east and southeast. An isolated shower trying to form just north of the Rensselaer area near North Judson. So there's a chance of a stray shower behind these lines here. But the chances of a strong to severe storm behind this line decreases the further west you go, thanks to our cold front and rain-cooled air. These thunderstorms act as a balance, as a way Mother Nature uses to balance the atmosphere within these storms as well. They use these storms to help find equilibrium or balance in the atmosphere. That's what weather is. Weather is all about trying to find a happy medium between differences in pressure and different variables as well. Thunderstorms is one of the tools that Mother Nature uses. A nice little gust front here south of North Webster associated with our core. This storm popped up along the outflow boundaries. You press play here, you can kind of see it grow. It just exploded on the north side of Warsaw, went from nothing to really big here. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this storm here near Barbie. I'll have to see if it develops any damaging wind with it as well. We have one severe thunderstorm warning left in Indiana. This is just for Kosciuszko County still, though a considerable warning. 70-mile-per-hour winds, radar indicated here. The storm has moved over the radar site, so we'll have to see what the National Weather Service does. Are we going to get an additional warning here? But also something cool that you may see in the warning tag, with the National Weather Service in northern Indiana likely still in their safe place, the warning may get issued by another office, an adjacent office elsewhere in the United States where they don't have severe weather. So it'll be interesting here to see if this warning is issued by northern Indiana or not. So the warning has been canceled, it looks like, by the National Weather Service, likely meaning as the storm went over their office itself, the storm has weakened below severe criteria and not quite as strong as what it once was. So I have to keep an eye on this as well and see if we have an additional warning or special weather statement get issued here. But we did have winds near 70 miles an hour between Leesburg and North Webster, at least on radar. So likely some pockets of 60 plus miles per hour, likely in this area of central Kosciuszko County. Still some gusty winds here as well. Still a strong thunderstorm based on radar, maybe winds 35 to 45 miles an hour, given that the National Weather Service has canceled that severe thunderstorm warning. You can see a strong outflow boundary out ahead of the main storm here, and this acts as a cold front out ahead of the main storms, and they can actually fire off new storms as well. So something we're going to have to keep an eye on as well. But it's still showing some gusty winds on that Kosciuszko cell. Just no severe thunderstorm warning on it. They do look to be below severe criteria, which is good news. Storms today will be a little bit more sporadic in terms of their severe weather coverage. And the big reason for that is we don't have a lot of wind shear. Wind shear is quite calm aloft. We really need wind shear of 30 knots or greater in the mid levels to really help bring down those stronger winds and help organize these storms. And speaking of that, strong winds likely near 50 to 60 miles an hour near Barbie in southern Kosciuszko County, south central Kosciuszko County. This will be moving towards North Webster, I guess east central Kosciuszko County. May see a new warning on this on the south side of the office on that thunderstorm that popped up just south of the additional or previous storm there. We'll have to see what the National Weather Service deems necessary with that. Nice pocket. Really isolated event, really less than a couple of miles squared is where this damaging wind event is, but likely getting a strong downburst near the Barbie area, moving north-northeast towards North Webster and towards Epworth Forest there. So I would stay in your safe place if you're in the North Webster area for the cell to the south that is working its way to the north-northeast at about 35 miles per hour or so. Nice pocket of strong winds there for roads. I think East 450 North, Armstrong Road or 500 North, and just north of McKenna Road, East McKenna Road, just near the Barbie areas where this downburst is ongoing here, just on the south side of North Webster. Pretty strong storm there. Likely see a statement or a warning on this. I'd be surprised if we didn't. But it is very isolated in nature too. But still, nonetheless, 50 to 60 mile per hour winds within this downburst here on the south side of North Webster. Getting ready to cross 500 north and 450 north here in East Armstrong Road is where this is heading. This is heading towards James Lake, Mineral Springs, and North Webster, coming near Webster Lake and maybe Lake Wawasee. We'll have to see, as well as the Cromwell area as well. Have to see if we get a warning on this or not. This storm is currently in Kosciuszko County. We did have a considerable warning, a level 2 out of 3 for this storm a little while ago near Leesburg, Indiana. Winds up to 70 miles an hour there. The storm has weakened. You can see the gust front now spanning out, coming near Ligonier. Likely a downburst is what we witnessed there, prompting that considerable warning. But still, locally strong to severe wind gusts on the south side of North Webster once again. No warning on it, though, at this point in time. But isolated wind gusts to 50 to 60 miles an hour just to the east or west of Barbie. Getting a really good sample here. The radar beam is showing winds near 60 miles an hour, a couple 100 feet off the ground. So a strong thunderstorm there nonetheless. Areas to the south, we have, whoa, easy, Caleb. We have winds of 40 miles per hour associated with this special weather statement. This will be near the Terre Haute area, Knightsville area, Rushville, Ross, and Erlin areas in Indiana. And southern Illinois, we also have a special weather statement, I believe, for 50 miles per hour. Yep. And this will be moving towards the Terre Haute area. We have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for northern Indiana until 9 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. Right now, the strongest storm in Indiana doesn't have a statement or anything on it. Near North Webster. That is currently our strongest storm here in Indiana at this point in time. $50 to 60 mile per hour winds, perhaps, in a downburst near North Webster. And there's our special weather statement. So they went ahead and put a special weather statement on it for 50 to 55 miles per hour. So just shy of severe criteria. The National Weather Service feels with this storm here. They have better equipment, better tools than what we have here at the office. So they're able to make those decisions at their office. So strong thunderstorm, just a few miles per hour shy of severe criteria for that storm there. This does include the Cromwell area, Kimmel area, Wolf Lake, and the Albion, Indiana area. Winds of 55 miles per hour. Looking around the region, we have scattered showers and thunderstorms associated with a weak cold front moving through the area. All special weather statements is what we have right now, so we don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings in the state of Indiana. I'll go ahead and show you where our severe thunderstorm watch is at this point in time. Let me show you here for that. All of these boxes here that you can see from Jay County all the way over to Logansport, Indiana, up to Northeast Indiana here. This is the severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Scattered damaging wind gusts to 70 miles per hour possible. We've definitely seen that. We had our first considerable severe thunderstorm warning a few minutes ago for Kosciuszko County. Winds up to 70 mile per hour were depicted by radar there for central Kosciuszko County. Thankfully, that storm has weakened below severe criteria, and we have a special weather statement on it at this point in time, highlighted in blue. Back to this storm here. Pretty gusty winds here coming in on the south side of North Webster, near Epworth Forest is where the strongest winds are associated with this thunderstorm. Also have a gust front coming into the Ligonier, Cromwell, and Kimmel areas as well, US 33. This was from the first storm that was warned that had 70 mile per hour winds earlier, but that does not appear to be the case right now. Winds up to 50 to 55 miles per hour. Elsewhere around the region, just some other special weather statements. No severe thunderstorm warnings at this point in time. We are in what we call all clear mode at this point in time, but that could change. These storms could strengthen a little bit. So we'll be live here for a while covering this as we have a severe thunderstorm watch in the area as well until 9 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. Storm Alert asks, what time do we expect the activity in South Bend area? Well, you guys are likely done for the day. The worst of the weather is off to your east. A few chances of an isolated shower or thunderstorm, but your chances for severe weather will go down quite a bit once the main line of storms pushes off to the east. Our cold front sitting back near the Portage area at this point in time, but that's also drifting to the southeast as well. Damaging winds isn't the only hazard today in our thunderstorms. We have a lot of moisture to work with in the atmosphere today, and that in turn is going to give us some very heavy rainfall rates. Rainfall rates up to 2 inches per hour are definitely possible, like we've had the last couple of days. Big fat raindrops, which can cause a lot of ponding. It can cause limited visibility. We saw several reports of visibility yesterday and heavier downpours near less than a quarter of a mile in some places. So visibility can go down quite a bit if you're in one of the cores of these heavier storms, and also some small hail is possible within these storms as well. But the primary risk today, heavy rainfall, lightning, and damaging wind gusts today. Our special weather statement that was for Howard County, Wabash County, and areas in between has been allowed to be expired or canceled. This line here has really just fell apart. And the reason for the lack of organization today is we just don't have wind shear. We have a lot of other ingredients needed for severe weather today, but you can only go as big as what our limiting factor is in terms of severe weather or really anything. A limiting factor is a limiting factor. And today's limiting factor is wind shear. We just don't have it. We have the one thing that sets us apart today versus what we've seen the last couple of days is we have a cold front that's moving across the region today. That is helping spark this line of unorganized showers and thunderstorms. But without wind shear, these storms can't really get organized along the cold front and really tap into those other ingredients available. Those ingredients sit unactivated. You need wind shear to activate a lot of these ingredients that we have for these storms to utilize them, but we don't have a lot of those today. So today is going to be a scattered severe weather event with strong gusty winds and an isolated nature, perhaps up to 70 miles per hour and a stronger downburst. We've seen that today, but in terms of widespread severe weather, like a statewide event, we just don't really see that today. And the biggest reason for that is we don't have wind shear. Wind shear is important for storm organization. Wind shear is not just important for tornadoes. There's different types of wind shear, and different measurements of those amounts are needed for different severe weather hazards. Speed shear, which is wind shear and changes of speed with height. So you may have winds of, let's say, 30 miles per hour, a couple thousand feet off the ground. You go up in the mid levels of the atmosphere, say 10,000 feet, and you have winds of 50 to 60 miles per hour. That's called speed shear. And that is really important in storm organization. It gets your updraft tilted a little bit. You have faster winds aloft, slower winds at the surface. That updraft tilts, and that allows for storms to sustain themselves for a long period of time. We don't have that today. Our updrafts are vertical, meaning they're going to choke on themselves. Their downdraft comes down to the ground and fans out in all directions, so it's harder for them to continually pull in warm, moist, unstable air without choking themselves off with the rain-cooled, stable air that they just produced. That has been the problem during the last few days here. Despite having double the amount of instability needed for severe weather, double the amount of moisture needed for severe weather for this time of year. In fact, moisture profiles have been around the 90 percentile for this time of year. So we're very, very humid. We have lots of juice, but we don't have a lot of lift or wind shear for these storms to work with. So we have what we call kill modes or fail modes in the atmosphere, and those are our limiting factors here today. So a lot of science, a lot of numbers, and a lot of math goes into forecasting severe weather. What do we have? What do we don't have? and what's the product and the result thereof. So think of it like a shopping list. We can check the box off the list, but if we don't have all the ingredients at the grocery store, we're not going to come home and make chocolate chip cookies because we don't have the ingredients. Same thing in the atmosphere. If the atmosphere has everything but the milk and eggs, we're not getting cookies. So just a fun way to look at it. Another way to look at it is tacos. Are we going to have a full taco, or are we going to be left with a shell? Another way to look at it here. And today is one of those days where we have part of the taco, but not the whole taco. You can pick which ingredients are left out, depending on what you like or don't like on your taco, but we don't have enough for a loaded taco. Let's put it that way. If you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to put them in chat. We have quite a few of you in here right now. We got Melody in here, Terry's in here. We got Angela, Felicia's in here. Great to see you guys. How close to Huntington is it, says Jenny? Well, Huntington likely getting some gusty winds right now. We had a special weather statement earlier for this line of storms, but this line of storms have really just completely fell apart, being honest with you. But for Huntington County in particular, you can see this line or this arc that you see here on both of my my velocity and reflectivity. This is an outflow boundary. Think of it as a line of rain-cooled air that'll be moving into town, likely moving into town right now. You're going to see a temperature drop, the humidity drop, and then you may see a few light showers on the backside of it as well. The air is probably going to feel really nice in Huntington, so it's probably going to feel great for a while. But this outflow boundary can also spark new showers and thunderstorms off as well out ahead of it. It acts as a mini cold front that acts as a source of lift to help the air rise out ahead of it and form new storms. So we are going to have to keep an eye on that. But for Huntington itself, a nice little shower on US 24, maybe just some gusty winds, but that's about it. In Winchester, Indiana, yeah, we're going to have to watch these storms, particularly the ones near Indianapolis. But right now, they're not very organized. They're very disorganized. And a lot of that is thanks to lack of wind shear. As you go up to the north, our neighbors to the north in Michigan, a lot better organization up here. And the reason for that, they have wind shear. This is what wind shear does to storms when you have other ingredients in place. Wind shear is the activator that activates the other ingredients that we have and allows the storms to tap into them. Without an activator, you're not really these storms are going to have a hard time tapping into the other ingredients that we have. And because Michigan has wind shear, these storms are a little better organized. You can see severe thunderstorm warnings. They're a lot larger in size, and they're more well put together. They just look more well put together than what they do here in Indiana. And that's because we don't have the wind shear that they do up there. And it's really not that much of a difference. Let's say wind shear here at about 10,000 feet is around 30 knots. You go up, is around 20 knots. You go up to Michigan, it's around 30 knots. So, which really isn't that fast. It's very weak, and that's being generous in terms of the wind speeds. Are actually probably lower than that, probably 15 to 30 miles an hour or less. So, not enough wind shear to really do a lot for these storms, fortunately. So, that's a good thing. If we had a lot of wind shear, we'd be talking about a different scenario today. And really the last couple of days, wind shear has been our limiting factor. So you can be grateful that we don't have a lot of wind shear. Otherwise, we could be talking about, a widespread damaging wind risk and stuff like that, just because we have a lot of ingredients in place today. But because we don't have wind shear, the storms are not able to really utilize their full potential in the atmosphere today. And also the mid levels are really warm. We need air to cool rapidly the higher you go in the atmosphere. But because we've been stuck under this heat dome, it allows the atmosphere to compress. And as the air compresses, it heats up. And because we have a lot of warm air aloft in the mid-levels, our air is not cooling with height. The faster our air cools with height, the faster the clouds want to rise. And it's called lapse rates or adiabatic cooling. We need that air to cool with height, and that aids in our energy, our oomph that we have in the atmosphere. Because our upper levels are so warm, we don't have that oomph that we would otherwise have for a severe weather event. So we have a lot of just things that are working for these storms, but also just as equally so working against them as well. So that's a good thing that we have here today. So a lot of stuff going on, a lot of science that really goes in to forecasting severe weather and how complex it really is. So it's really quite fun to forecast severe weather because every event is different. They have different ingredients of different amounts, and we get to put them all together and see what's going to happen. So pretty cool to be able to do that. But also glad we don't have all the ingredients today. So we're down to kind of go through our special weather statements here. Special weather statement up here to the north, 50 to 55 mile per hour winds. This storm has looked to weaken a little bit further on radar too, so winds might be a little less than 50 to 55 miles an hour. That's a good thing. Albion, North Webster, Cromwell, Brinfield, all the way to James Lake, Kimmel, and Tippecanoe Lake under a special weather statement. Still has a decent core on it coming into the Wolf Lake area, but not really a lot of winds associated with it. Probably the strongest little wind gusts is up here near Cosperville, Brimfield, and Wawaka here. You kind of see a little bit of a brighter reflectivity in the core of this storm, but even then, it's small and isolated. Nothing significant with that storm at this point in time. Nice outflow boundary coming into the I-69 corridor here. Think the GM plant, Roanoke, Marion, Huntington, Markle area in Wells County. Getting in on this outflow boundary, but not a lot of rain with it. Might just have maybe some gusty winds come through, and that's all you're going to get today in Huntington and Grant County. So good news there. Could always be a lot worse. We do have that severe thunderstorm watch in effect if it's not canceled early, which the storms continue to be this week. I would not be surprised to see the severe thunderstorm watch canceled across northern Indiana. As honestly, these storms just don't really look supportive of a severe thunderstorm watch, if I'm being honest. So that is good news. And a lot of that is lack of wind shear. We just don't have the wind shear today to support severe weather. Large special weather statement, including eastern portions of Indianapolis. This severe, or not severe, special weather statement is for winds of 40 miles per hour. So we are sub-severe at this point in time. We've had 2 severe thunderstorm warnings today so far in northern Indiana, both of which turned considerable, 70-mile-per-hour winds with those a little while ago. Thankfully, the storms that prompted the warning have weakened below severe criteria, but we also have a couple of stronger cells up here, one near the LaGrange area, Kendallville, and down to the Cromwell area and Wolf Lake area in northern Indiana. These are probably the strongest storms right now. We'll have to keep an eye on them as they move into northeast Indiana towards the Auburn and Angola area. But if you're in Fort Wayne, Bluffton, Muncie will have to watch these storms near Indianapolis. But if you're between Fort Wayne and, let's say, Blackford County, not a lot is going on right now. We're going to have to watch for new thunderstorms along the outflow boundary, but nothing very impressive right now, to say the least. Which is good news. Not a lot going on right now, thanks to our lack of wind shear. That is definitely our biggest limiting factor here today in Indiana is wind shear. We just don't have it today. But we could have some very heavy rainfall rates in any thunderstorms or downpours that we have. Rainfall rates in excess of 2 inches per hour are definitely not out of the question. So we could have some ponding in areas as well. As you hit play across the radar, you can kind of see how these storms are deteriorating across northern and central Indiana. These storms here from Howard County to Wabash County and Huntington really just completely and utterly fell apart. So there's just not a lot going on right now. New special weather statement for the Noblesville area, Atlanta area, for that cell there. Likely some gusty winds up to 40 miles an hour. So a lot of these storms are staying around 40 miles an hour or less in terms of wind. So staying well shy of severe criteria of 58. We did have one go considerable for Kosciuszko County. That was a localized event. But we did see winds up to 70 miles per hour there not that long ago. Go ahead and check the power outage map to see if we had any power outages in Kosciuszko County. Go ahead and take a look here. I'm pulling it up here behind the scenes. Try to get that pulled up here for you. And it looks like 237 customers are without power in Kosciuszko County out of 49,482. So there's some isolated power outages. Um, that could be from these storms here today. Likely for areas near the Leesburg area, if I had to guess, based on radar between Leesburg and North Webster. But these storms are looking pretty weak on nature here. I'm not sure if we'll get another special weather statement or not, just because of the fact of how sub-severe they appear to be on radar. That is good news. We don't need severe weather today. I think we've had our fair share in the state of Indiana as a whole this year, especially when it comes to damaging winds and tornadoes. My golly, we have had our fair share this year. From Indianapolis having several destructive severe thunderstorm warnings this year for 70 and 80 mile per hour winds. We have said several of those warnings. We've had our second most active year on record for tornadoes in Indiana. I think we're at 58 for the year. And the number one record for tornadoes is 2011 with 72. So we're not too far away from breaking the all-time record. Hopefully we don't. And now that we're in the summertime months, thankfully our most active year, our peak for tornadoes, is coming to an end. We can still get them any time of the year, but the most active periods are coming to a close. So that is some good news. And we look to get a break from severe weather after today as well. Kind of have a little bit of a pattern change coming near term after today. Our heat dome is beginning to break down. So we have some dry weather on the way next week and a little bit cooler temperatures as well. Starting tomorrow, the entire state will likely not be in a heat advisory or heat alert of any kind tomorrow. We'll see heat index values only getting into the 90s tomorrow. Our actual air temperatures will be in the 80s statewide tomorrow. And we'll see lows tomorrow night in the 60s across northern Indiana. That'll feel pretty nice for those people up there, and 70s for central and southern Indiana. So a little bit of relief is on the way back to typical summer temperatures and not excessive heat. So that is some good news that we do have going on. This storm appears to be gusting out just a little bit along the 74-65 corridor coming into Zionsville near Lebanon. A nice gust front on it, but still appears to be below severe criteria. But we'll keep an eye on it here as it does look to be organizing maybe perhaps just a little bit as it heads towards the Indianapolis area, or the north side of Indianapolis near Noblesville. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat here. Luckily, right now, we're pretty quiet across the state. We do have that severe thunderstorm watch still in effect until 9 o'clock. However, based on a hunch, I wouldn't be surprised if they cancel that early. I don't want to sound super negative and play off this threat, but storms just are not super impressive at this point in time. A little bit of a gust front. My radar here behind the scenes actually shows it a little bit better on the south side of Albion. Perhaps a gust front getting a little bit stronger just to the east of Wolf Lake, south of Albion there. See if it shows it on the next scan here, but right in here, perhaps getting a little bit gustier near the 50 mile per hour. Radar behind the scenes has it right at 52, so a little bit stronger of a gust front here. Still a little bit shy of severe, but close. As it approaches just south of the Albion area. Heading near, I think Channel Lake State Park is up in this area too, just south of Albion. So, know anybody at the campground? Got a heavy thunderstorm on the way for you guys. Clouds rolling in on the south side of Indy, says Rose. Yeah, you guys got an outflow boundary coming into town, and also some gusty showers near the Mooresville area as well. Look at our airport radar, our terminal radar. Go ahead and turn that up. A little microburst actually ongoing. It's small, but it's there near Brookland. If you hit play, we'll likely see this microburst form here. There it is. So what we're seeing here, wind-wise, we have these brighter greens going towards the airport radar, and these reds are going away from the radar. So right in there in the center, which would be right in here in our core. That's our downburst. So we have a little bit of a downburst going on. Strong, but not severe at this point in time and very localized. So we do have some downburst potential today. We have some dry air in the mid levels that help accelerate the downdrafts as they're on their way down to the ground. Microbursts occur through a process called evaporative cooling. Dry air gets embedded in the cloud, and what happens is the rain begins to evaporate in the mid levels of the cloud. As it evaporates, it cools rapidly, and that cold air begins to condense and becomes very heavy. That heavy, rapidly cooling air begins to descend rapidly because it's cold, it's heavy. Cold air is much denser than the warm air around it, so it sinks. As that air sinks, it gains speed and velocity as it comes down to the ground in the form of straight line winds. Once it hits the ground, it just kind of poofs. It fans out in all directions, and there you have a downburst or a microburst. That's what's going on here near the south of Mooresville, Indiana. Weak on nature, but still a little downburst nonetheless. Special weather statements here for 40 miles per hour for another 18 minutes here. Back up to North Webster. There's a little bit brighter just south of Albion, a little bit better showing there. Winds perhaps over 50 miles per hour south of Albion, crossing State Road 9 near Bakerton is where these winds are. No warning. Still appears to be below severe criteria, but it is strong. We do have a special weather statement on it by the National Weather Service. This is for winds of 50 to 55 miles an hour. It does expire in 3 minutes. We'll have to see if we get another one for this storm, or if they're going to let it go and feel those stronger winds, or just not quite making it down to the ground, which is possible. But the good news is our severe weather threat is very limited today. We thought that might happen. As mentioned in our severe weather outlook earlier today, we thought the lack of wind shear would really kind of put a cap on today's severe weather potential, limiting on how big and how strong these storms would be able to get, just because we don't have the upper level support to support storm organization today. That's a good thing, and never a bad thing to have that. A lot of the areas could use some rain, but we definitely don't need the severe weather. So good news all the way around today. But do be mindful, a few storms could be strong. Gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour, perhaps 70 as the severe thunderstorm watch shows. We did have that considerable severe thunderstorm warning earlier, about an hour ago. This would be for Kosciuszko County, central Kosciuszko County near Leesburg. Had winds near 70 miles per hour between North Webster and Leesburg. It got pretty strong there as a downburst occurred, but those storms have weakened significantly as they moved into northeast Indiana. A little bit of a gust front south of the Albion area, State Road 9, but appears to be below severe criteria at this point in time. Areas across northeast Indiana, though, likely going to see some gusty winds before you see any rain, thanks to an outflow boundary in the region. You can see the line draped from about Angola to the GM plant in Fort Wayne, all the way down to Marion, and a little bit further south towards Fishers. And this is rain-cooled air, so some showers and thunderstorms that have been pushed out away from the storms as these storms collapsed. As they hit play on the radar on the left and right of your screen, you can see that line that protrudes coming into Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne likely going to see some, what I like to call Mother Nature's air conditioning system. This outflow boundary will move over, might cause some gusty winds, perhaps maybe 15 to 20 miles an hour, and you'll feel a drop in temperature as well, and maybe even a shelf cloud on the leading edge as well. Could look pretty cool as it moves into town, and it'll feel a lot better outside as well. So that's some good news for those of you on or in the Fort Wayne area. Just kind of looking at area cameras here to see if we have a shelf cloud or anything cool to show you guys. But I don't see too much on the cameras at the moment. Might not have a shelf cloud on it. A very picturesque shelf cloud associated with the same type of feature and outflow boundary moved across the greater Fort Wayne area yesterday, dropping temperatures and winds to 30 miles per hour or so in the Wales-Adams County area. Had a beautiful picture that was sent in to us from Bluffton. A lot of times, shelf clouds can be very beautiful, but also a sign that you could have some strong winds approaching as well. Hi, Tammy from Martinsville. Great to see you. Great to have you in here. We're live for severe weather coverage here today, although not a lot of severe weather is going on right now. Our severe weather threat seems to be diminishing quite a bit, actually, and that is thanks to a lack of wind shear and what we call lapse rates, how fast our air wants to rise. That is another important factor in severe weather. We need the air to rise really fast to help support severe weather. And due to the amount of warm air that we have aloft, the air is not cooling. As the air cools with height, the faster it wants to rise. And we don't have that today. Thanks to an area of high pressure that is in the region responsible for giving us our just downright oppressive and just horrible temperatures the last few days and humidity. As an area of high pressure settles in, the deeper or stronger that a high pressure is, the more dense and compact the air wants to be, the more it compresses. And as that air compresses, it heats up. And that also heats up the air in the mid to upper levels as well, slowing our air parcels' ascent as they rise into clouds and eventually storms. And that is a limiting factor as well. So, a lot of kill modes today or fail modes in our severe weather today. But nonetheless, we do have a non zero risk, though it seems to be dwindling fast at this point in time. A lot of the storms are just downright petering out across the state of Indiana, thanks to our lack of ingredients and fail modes here today. If this trend continues, we'll probably hop off early and monitor things here behind the scenes. But these storms are just not impressive at this point in time. Winds of 40 miles per hour in the blue boxes here. They canceled our special weather statement for northern Indiana. These storms have weakened quite a bit. Even the storms in Illinois, this had winds to 55 earlier. It's down to 50. So overall, these storms are weakening quite a bit and are not looking too impressive, but still stay weather aware. If you're in northern Indiana, northeast Indiana, central and southern Indiana, could have some thunderstorm chances this afternoon. But the severe weather potential is weakening quite a bit, thanks to a lack of ingredients that I've hoped I explained to you guys here today. Hopefully, you learned something along the way with our live streams. Another way to have fun and maybe learn a thing or two while we're streaming as well. So, like information potato chips, you never know what you're going to hear. So, up north in Michigan, if you do have friends and family in Michigan, up here we have a little bit more wind shear in place, up around 30 knots. So, a little bit faster wind speed equals better storm organization. These storms are able to tap into those other ingredients and access them a little bit better because we have the wind shear. And it's not that much difference in wind shear, but just a little bit more is just a little bit enough to get these storms better organized. Thus, we have severe thunderstorm warnings that have been ongoing near the Lansing and Flint areas as well. So, a little bit more organized across northern or southern Michigan, north of Indiana, thanks to our a little bit more wind shear to work with up there. I want to look at these cells just south of Mooresville near the airport terminal here because we had a microburst ongoing. You can see it's broadened out now a little bit. There's where it started, right here near Bunker Hill, and then it's fanned out, and you have winds blowing away from the radar, and they're fanning out as they do so. As that microburst hits the ground, it goes poof, and it fans out in a 360-degree arc. And sometimes it can be pushed one way versus another way as well. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. It's kind of pushed to the east a little bit more, giving us a little bit of a gust front there. But sub-severe, maybe winds to 25, 30 miles per hour perhaps, but not a lot going on. So with that being said, these storms currently look unimpressive across Indiana. I wouldn't be surprised if they canceled the severe thunderstorm watch for northern Indiana. Currently, the environment just does not support widespread severe weather across Indiana as a whole, thanks to our a number of variables today that doesn't support widespread severe weather. Could still have a chance of a strong to locally severe. Damaging wind gusts would be the main hazard here today. Hail would be a secondary risk, but I think that risk is very, very low. Torrential rainfall is higher on the risk threat today, thanks to our heavy moisture profiles in the atmosphere. Rainfall rates could be in excess of 2 inches per hour. similar to what we had the last 2 days. It doesn't take very long to realize once you walk outside that we have a lot of moisture in the air. It's humid. It hits you pretty quick. So with that being said, we're probably going to go ahead and pop off here, and we'll come back on if any of these storms get an attitude once again. We'll pop back on and we'll cover that in detail from beginning to end. So with that being said, thank you for staying with us here for our severe weather coverage today. And if any other severe warnings do pop up, we will cover those in detail. So with that being said, have a good afternoon, and hopefully we don't see any more severe thunderstorm warnings today. But if we do, we will let you know.